Hello guys, this is Zan from Infinite Zack, coming at you with a Sarah Pale Moon deck profile. Now, let's get started with the grade zeros. First we got Innocent Magician. Basic Pale Moon, starting Vanguard. When you ride a Pale Moon unit on top of him, move him to a different rearguard slot. Just makes it so you don't actually become 0 or -1 on the first turn. Good for keeping card advantage and all that kind of stuff, which is always good. Then its other effect is counter +1, move it to back to the soul. Then look at the top 5 cards for a possible grade 3 or greater Pale Moon unit among them. Reveal it to your opponent, and then put it to your hand and shuffle your deck. Basically, I've had inconsistencies with the deck, and that's why I prefer running that over Girl Who Crosses the Gap. Then for trigger lineup, we got 4 Dynamite Juggler, basic critical trigger, always good in decks. 4 more critical triggers, known as Poison Juggler. He has a little bit of a different effect, which I almost never use. I mainly use him as a shield, but it's if you have to, you can put him into the soul, and then pick one of your Pale Moon units. It gains +3k till the end of the turn. It's okay. Then we got 4 Draw, which is Rainbow Magician. His effect is when he's boosting and the attack hits, you get to Soul Charge 1, and then return him back to your deck, and then shuffle. This basically means you get a draw trigger back in your deck after Soul Charging 1 card. There's both good things and bad things about this in that you lose a card when you do it, because you lose either a grade 3, B, a 5k shield, or C, in the worst case scenario, a 10k shield, which would have been a more useful trigger in my opinion. And then we got 4 heal. There's 2 heals for the deck. I just prefer Popcorn Boy because more bright colors and all that kind of stuff. Alright, then we got grade 1s, which to start with, we've got 4 Turquoise Beast Tamer. Now, her effect is if you've got one of the grade 2s, which is Crimson Beast Tamer in the deck, as a card in your soul, she gains 3k, which makes her a 9k unit on your turn, which is really good because she's then a 9k booster. And if you really have to, she's a 9k hitter, which still can freak out your opponent every once in a while. I've had to do it. Then we got 4 Midnight Bunny. Sorry about that. Camera just drifted off a little bit there. 4 Midnight Bunny. When this unit boosts an attack and then hits, counterblast 1, move it to the soul, then pull out any other Pale Moon unit as long as it's not Midnight Bunny, and call it to a rearguard circle. Basically, that lets you get either another attack in or set up another row for boosting. Alright, and then 3 Purple Trapezist. Now it's only a 6k unit, which makes it seem like, oh, this is such a bad card, but it's not. It's because it has an amazing effect that it only has 6k in power. Now, when it's placed onto the rearguard circle, any rearguard circle, you put any other Pale Moon unit that you have on the field into your soul, and then get to call out any other Pale Moon unit, as long as it's not named Purple Trapezist. So, basically you can change something like the Innocent Magician, if you do have a grade 3 in your hand that you like, into Turquoise Beast Tamer for later, which then you're setting up for a 9k row. Then we got 4 perfect cards. Hades Hypnotist. Now the reason I run 4 perfect cards in the deck is because I've had issues with drawing, soul charging, and all that kind of stuff, where I've accidentally put Hades Hypnotist into my soul, which is why I always run the extras. Now for the grade 2s, we have 3 Dancing Princesses of the Night Sky. Now what her effect is, when she's placed onto the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, and you have a Pale Moon Vanguard, you may pay the cost, which is counterblast 1. Very simple cost. Now if you do pay the cost, you get to search your deck for a grade 1 up to 1 grade 2 or less Pale Moon unit, and put it into your soul. This basically assures that you're going to have 1 key card in the deck always in your soul. Now, another grade 2 unit that you're always going to be running is Barking Cerberus. It's a 10k beater. It's just good for having power in the case of a back row, where you don't have something ideal. And then the other card is 4 Crimson Beasttamers, one of which in my deck is SP. Now, Crimson Beasttamer's effect is, if Crimson Beasttamer herself is in the soul, she gains another 3k. Very nice. Now, basically working that with Dancing Princess of the Night Sky, you basically make sure that you always have a Crimson Beasttamer in your soul, like so. Because, well, who doesn't like hitting for 11 with a rear guard? Alright, and then for grade 3s, let's start with the rear guard one. Let's move these out of the way. We've got 3 Nightmare Doll Alice, one of which is SP. What Nightmare Doll Alice does is, if her attack hits, you can counterblast 1, move her to the soul, and then pull out any Pale Moon unit that's not Nightmare Doll Alice. So her effect is very much like Mirror Demon or Midnight Bunny, but she is when she attacks, unlike Midnight Bunny. So you can do some interesting setups with other cards in the deck. Then there's my one of for grade 3s, Dusk Illusionist Robert, which is just a favorite card of mine. I used it when I went to Seattle. It got me through most of the game up until round 5, which I got owned. So, shoutouts to that guy, whoever, if he finds out who the hell's making this video. But his main effect is the one that I use, which is automatic effect. At the beginning of your main phase, soul charge 1 card, look at the top card of your deck, and you can choose it to put that at the top or the bottom of your deck. This basically lets you stack triggers for setups, bluff your opponent out, do a lot of mind plays, and whatnot. And then last but not least, we've got the main Vanguard that you want to ride, 3 Sword Magician Sarah. One of which, again, is SP. Very important. Yeah, totally. Not really. But her effect is choosing one of your grade 3 or greater Pale Moon rear guards, putting it into your soul. When this unit drive checks a grade 3 or Pale Moon, a grade 3 Pale Moon unit, sorry, you can use her effect. If you do, then choose 1 Pale Moon unit from your from your soul. Sorry, this isn't Velvet Voice for Reindeer. Choose 1 Pale Moon unit from your soul and call it to a rear guard circle. Then her other effect is very nice with the Turquoise Beasthammer. Let's try to get all the card art in there because she's very pretty. When she's being boosted by any other Pale Moon unit, she gains an additional 3k until the end of the battle. Now, some basic setups would be like having Sarah as your Vanguard, Alice as your rear guard. I'm not going to put the stuff in the soul, I'm just going to tell you what's supposed to be there, because this is the 3rd time I've had to try to shoot this, and it's getting very long, and I want to keep this under 10 minutes, preferably. And the only card I'm going to put in the soul is a Purple Trapezist, but there's a Crimson Beasttamer that's supposed to be in the soul, a Midnight Bunny behind Alice, and then a Turquoise Beasttamer, preferably behind Sarah. Now, what's so special about this field? Sorry if you heard that squeak, it was me readjusting my seating. Is that even if Alice just swings by herself for 10k, it's not a huge problem, because of Sarah's effect. Because when she swings for a row of 22, and let's say you drive check a grade 3 like another Sarah, then Alice moves into the soul, then moves out. So she's standing again. Trying to get all this in the camera for you guys. Which means now you have a fresh row of 17x. The reason I'm saying X is because in the case you do get a trigger, odds are you're going to put it on Midnight Bunny. Pray for that grade 3, so then you're restanding the unit. Worst case scenario is you don't trust yourself and you end up throwing it on the Crimson Beasthammer, so it will be swinging for 16 by itself. And then, yeah, you swing for 17x. The attack hits, you counterblast 1 for Midnight Bunny, you have Purple Trapezist, move in and out. Purple Teresa's effect then triggers. You have Alice move in and then out by herself. That's totally within the rules. It's because of how the cards are written, which is why I love Bushiroad games. Then again, yeah, you're swinging for 16. Now in this case, yeah, it's only 16 because when something moves in and out of the soul, it loses any boosts it had, which is meh. But let's say that hits again, then you have Alice moving into the soul after counterblasting one, and then Midnight Bunny comes out over here for this row. Then you're swinging for 18. Let's fix that. 18x. Because again, you might have not trusted yourself if your first trigger was a crit, and put it onto Crimson Beasthammer, going, well, I need this to hit. And then, let's say this hits, it doesn't matter what, then Midnight Bunny goes back into the soul, Alice comes out again by herself, and then swings. So again, minimum your opponent has been bluffed into giving up 2 cards, minimum, which is kind of funny, because it lets you control your opponent's hand very nicely. But yeah, this is Zan from Infinite Zach. I hope to see you guys again. Leave a comment in the channel, in the comment section below. We do read them, surprisingly. We hope to put more videos up very soon. But yeah, rate, comment, subscribe, yada yada. Have a nice day. Bye.